Hi, I'm Dana, and I was originally going to film a completely different video today that I've spent like the last hour and a half making notes for and trying to figure out what I want to say. But actually, I want to talk about a completely different topic because I'm going to another of my little clubs that I've been joining. I've been going to fun little crafty things and book clubs and little singing groups, and it's all been very fun and nice in an attempt to go out and meet people. And I've also just been open to having conversations with people. I recently met up with someone that I think I probably will be friends with because we ended up getting chatting on a bus and had a lot of things in common. So I am trying to be open to making friends and open to meeting people and just having a nice time. But there's also a massive part of me that just doesn't want to speak to anyone and doesn't want to make any new friends and doesn't want to meet anyone in the local area. I don't want to be known by people. I don't want to do all of that again. And we're going to have a little sort of casual chat about it because I can't be the only autistic person that's I want friends, but I also deeply don't, because actually they're just always a load of drama and upset and communication difficulties and feeling hurt by people, and just I've put a hell of a lot of work into my life to have a life that I'm happy with and a life that I enjoy. And there's still issues, there's still problems. I still have many an autistic trait that bothers me and makes my life more difficult. But in a lot of ways, I'm very happy with my life the way it is now. And I don't necessarily want to bring people into it. You know, there's a level of if friendships were all perfect and nice and remained that way, I'd love to have lots of friends and be able to cook dinner for people and have people around to sample my baking and watch movies together and go out and do things together. But there's also just a massive level to which I'm well, I've sorted those things so that I'm happy to do them on my own. So why would I invite someone in who could possibly hurt me, who might upset me, who might use me? It could be so many different things that aren't nice. So if I already have a base level of niceness, why would I introduce someone else to that? Why would I bring someone into this when I like what I have? Right from the very beginning, I find friendships quite difficult. I don't really know at which point people go from being acquaintances to being friends. I quite often try to make friends with all the people that are a bit creative and fun, and I've had a lot of situations where I'm I don't know if we're becoming friends or if I'm basically a seat filler for your poetry and art events, and I'm fine with either. But if I'm basically a seat filler and I'm happy to be there, I'm enjoying the things I'm seeing, but if that's what I am, I'm not going to be oh, when do you want to hang out, do you want to do something, do you want to go here, do you want to do this, because that's not the type of friendship that we have. I'm there to fill up a seat when you have a show. And again, I'm fine with that. I understand that a lot of people do have issue with that. When I've talked about it to some other friends before, they've been well, that's not very nice, and I'm no, but I don't feel they're luring me in under the pretense of friendship. If you're only inviting me to events that you're playing at, I sort of am okay, is that because you want to see me though? I really wish it was normalised to just be yeah, I just thought you might enjoy the show, I don't particularly want to be friends. I would be fine with that. I would rather know. I don't know at which point I should start inviting people to things. I don't know if I'm being fucking weird. I don't know if I'm trying to make people feel closer than they actually do. From the very beginning of meeting people, I just find it very difficult to know at which point to progress things, to know how they feel about me. And I've had so many people go it's not that deep, man. But I've also had so many situations where I've been oh, I think that me and this person are becoming friends now, so I'll invite them to do this thing, and they're very okay, you know, I can tell they don't really understand why I'm inviting them because we're not friends, and I'm oh, I thought we were getting there, but we're not. And I just wish that I could read those sorts of cues a bit easier and know what people want from me. And there's also the level of I feel I've missed out on some friendships that could have been really nice because I never assume that I'm invited anywhere. I never assume that people want me anywhere. I'm only showing up if someone is you should come to this, it would be nice to see you there. And that's why I end up being a seat filler as well. But unless someone does that, I don't know that they wanted to be friends. And looking back with hindsight and 2020 vision of hindsight, there's a lot of times that I can see that people did try to include me and invite me to things, and because it wasn't a very forthright, blunt invitation, I didn't read it as an invitation so much as they were telling me about this thing that they're going to do, and I've been oh cool, you enjoy that, when they were in fact probably trying to initiate inviting me. It's the very base of it is already really fucking difficult and confusing, and I don't understand how it all works and how it all happens. And that's where very, very occasionally I will meet someone and the friendship just happens. It's immediate. We are connected. We are friends. This is great. Everything's brilliant. And I grow to trust that person because we're best friends and we just clicked. We just connected, man. Isn't this great? Someone finally understands me. And then something happens where I'm like, oh, I've misread this situation. You are not the person that I was led to believe. And it's fucking horrible every single time, because it's every time I'm like, is this all my fault? Is this entirely on me? Because like, if it keeps happening and I'm the common denominator, then at some point some of these things are my fault, you know? And especially knowing that I'm autistic and I don't communicate that well, I'm not like, this is a part of the diagnosable condition that I have. Like, part of being autistic is that I don't socialise the best. Like, I know full well it's not always everybody else's fault every single time with everything, but also the friendships I've had where we've connected very quickly and it's gotten very deep like that, I don't feel like it's entirely on me. Like, I don't think it's insane of me to have someone that I trust tell me like, oh yeah, you can trust me, I don't tell lies, I communicate like this, I do this and that. I don't think it's that bizarre that I would believe them and then feel betrayed and hurt when it turns out that that's not actually the case after all, you know? And as much of this as there's a level of like, everything is a two-way street, there's two sides to every story, like, I'm not saying like absolutely none of it is ever my fault, but I do think there's a decent level to which I meet quite arseholy people quite often, or at least I have in my past, and it's very obvious to them very quickly that if they tell me they're a trustworthy person, I'm like, oh, this is a trustworthy person. If they tell me that I can trust them and that they'll like help me out and they'll look after me and they'll do this for me and they'll do that for me if I just do this and I just do that, like, it's extremely fucking easy for people to manipulate me and take advantage of me, and I don't notice it's happening until like 2 years down the line. And that's where a lot of my friendships last a year or two, and then I'm like, excuse me, I don't like this way you're treating me. I actually don't think that's super okay and I'd like it if that stopped. And they're like, oh, you don't like the way I'm treating you? Well, you do this and you do this and you do this and you're a horrible person for that. And it's suddenly this like massive argument where I'm a gigantic asshole, when like I thought I was just trying to set a boundary within like a nice and healthy friendship, and it turns out that I'm the issue. And I don't think I always am. I think actually they're just quite defensive about it, you know? Like, it's one of those things where I think it's also very easy, and I think this is something a lot of autistic people slip into, where we're like, and all of my friendships go that way, and people seem to assume that it's been like 25 people that I've had that go this way with, when the reality is that it's like 5, you know? Like, it's not that many people, and it's across many years where I've been like, ugh, I'm actually not satisfied with the way you're treating me, I'm not enjoying this isn't a good time. And then it all blows up into an argument where they're just like, well, you're a cunt for saying that, and I'm like, guess I am, like, shit, sorry. And it's that kind of thing that's also like upsetting and has like an ongoing effect, because even in the friendships that I have now that I'm very comfortable in, I trust them very much, it's like, well, you've trusted these bitches before, haven't you? You've trusted people before and been like, these are really good trustworthy friends, and I finally found my family, and this is my community, and I'm so happy, and these are such great people. And then it all falls to shit and it turns out that I was really like quite disillusioned. And I will agree, I do think one of my like major flaws within a lot of relationships and friendships is that there is a level to which I put people on a pedestal. Did I pronounce that properly? We're going with it. And it's one of those things that's like, yeah, I should stop doing that. That's not great. That's not a good thing to do. But also, I've often been meeting people that have been like, well, I'm super trustworthy. I'm really honest. I communicate very bluntly, so you'll always know how I feel. And they're all like positive traits that I like in people. And I'm like, yeah, good. I believe that. You know? Like, I don't feel like I'm building a picture of someone that's untrue. I'm building the picture based on what they're giving me, and they're giving me untrue information about themselves, sometimes subconsciously, I think, but still. But especially as someone who majority of the time has befriended other neurodivergent people, we often then have the like enmeshment of trying to accommodate to each other and trying to help each other out and assist each other in like day-to-day life, because I'm trying to build fucking community, and I thought that I would receive it back in return if I did stuff for them and things like that. And sometimes I do. I've had a lot of friends that are willing to make phone calls for me, because that is one of the biggest things that I struggle with. If I need to make a phone call, it's gonna happen in like 3 months time and I finally built up the courage to manage it. And a lot of things need to like have the phone call be made long before that. So it's one of those things where when the friendship then breaks down, I've had very few friendships that have ended that haven't had the other person be like, well, what about all that I do for you? What about everything I do for you? What are you going to do without me? And it's very like, exactly what I was doing before you, babe. Like, I didn't realise this was a whole like bargaining chip that you were going to hold over me. I thought we were just helping each other out. That's why I've been doing all this stuff for you as well. And as much as like I'm an adult that needs to be able to do my own things, that is true enough. I'm also an autistic adult that has the thing of like, if I end this friendship, if this friendship goes down, a massive accommodation that I like really do require, like sure, I'll find a fucking way to manage it and work around it on my own if I have to. It is a hell of a lot easier to have someone support me in doing it and actually do it for me. Like that is the accommodation that I realistically need, and now I'm just having that taken from me. And like I get that like the person you're not friends with isn't going to continue doing that thing for you because you're not friends with them anymore and you're an adult, but it's seriously like very distressing to have support and accommodations just yonked away, just taken from you. And it's also very distressing and terrifying to be in situations where it's like, I don't know what kind of situation I'm going to end up in if I call out a boundary with this person, if I call them out for ignoring the boundaries that I've already tried to set with them and things like that. And trying to find the balance between like, trust no one, do everything yourself, make sure that you are entirely independent because everyone else can just withdraw support at any given fucking moment because they feel like you're just left to deal with it on your own again. At least if you're used to it, at least if that's what you're doing, you can just carry on doing what you're doing and like, it's fine. Trying to find the balance between that and actually accepting help when I need it, accepting help from people that are willing to offer it, trusting people to actually help me. You know, because I've had many a neurodivergent friend that's like, no, I can totally do that thing. And then months later, I'm like, so you haven't been doing this properly and I'm scared that I'm going to get into like serious trouble with somebody over it. And they're like, no, I have been doing it properly. And I'm like, you literally haven't though. Like you literally haven't. Like, having to trust other neurodivergent people who don't necessarily know what's going on the best and don't understand everything and only have like their own perspective and experience of it, it doesn't always go right. It's not always the right fucking thing, you know? Like, things like that are actually terrifying and really scary. Like, just the balance of letting people in but not letting them get too close, not letting them into like a position where they can like genuinely fuck you over. And like, I shouldn't be having to consider like, I don't feel like I should have to consider things like that in friendships, you know? And that's why I've had so many terrible ones, I'm sure. You know, but I just don't expect to have to consider protecting myself from the people that are supposed to care about me, the people that say they care about me, the people that say they love me. I shouldn't have to consider protecting myself against that. But turns out you actually fucking do quite often. I don't like it, but that is the fact of things, I think. And just figuring out the level of like self-protection that is required while also still being able to let people in and still being able to trust people and still being able to build relationships with people and ask for help and accept help and all of that stuff. It's terrifying and it feels like an absolute minefield, you know? Like it's scary, and it's something that I'm just thinking about so often lately when I'm meeting people and talking to people, because like I want friends and I want community and I want to be around people. Like, I want to be able to go to pubs and have a pint with a mate and like do little things to be social and have a nice time and enjoy myself. And I just don't feel like I could ever truly trust anybody ever again. And I also just, in feeling so untrusting of people, I've made a life that I really like in the way that it is, where I don't need people for the most part, you know? And like, having said all of this, I do have like my extremely fucking good internet friends, and I spend like, honestly, at least a couple of hours most days speaking to somebody via video call at this point in my life, which I never thought would happen because video calls used to fucking petrify me. And like, it is still like the same little group of people. I'm just like, there's like these 3 people I do video calls with and everyone else still terrifies me with it. But like, I am very, very lucky to have the friendships that I have. But there is also a level of like, sorry guys, I know you're all watching, you better be fake fans otherwise, innit? But like, even within those friendships, there's a level to which like, I like them, I trust them, they're people that I would say that I love, they're very, very close friends. I still have to like really fucking like have a whole conversation with my head about it. If they like offer me help, offer me assistance, offer to like come and see me, any of that, I have to like have a real debate with myself, because I'm like, my initial reaction is no. we have a perfectly nice online friendship where we talk to each other on the internet, and that's lovely. If you come here, if you come to me, if we spend time in person, that could all change. That could all be different. I don't know what you're like in person. I like things the way they are. Yeah, like there's a level of like, I just don't like things changing. But there's also a level of, you know, like I don't think that I'm keeping them at a distance per se, but there just is a level of distance in having online internet friends. And it's a lot easier to maintain that than it is to maintain real life, like in person, all the time friendships. And like having to like give myself the full like chat in my head of like, someone's gonna come and see me for a few days. Like it's not hard to get through. It should realistically be enjoyable. And if it isn't, it's just for a few days and they're fucking off. I don't have to invite them again, you know? And like, as much as I like think it'll go well and I wouldn't bother like organising it or dealing with it at all if it wasn't something, I think that if it goes well, which it should, it will be worth it and it will be nice and I will have enjoyed it. But I'm already setting myself up for like, if it goes horribly wrong and if it turns out that I hate the fucking person, and like, I have such a level of preparedness within me now for any friendship to end. And like, I used to really, really deeply adore my friends, and I still do. And like, I still see friendships as very important, but I just cannot hold them close within my heart in the way that I used to, because I did it for so many people that just deeply fucking disappointed me and felt like very genuine betrayals. And it sucked. It sucked deeply. And it's just, it's on my mind quite often at the minute, because I think it is something that, especially the like last friendship breakup that I had, it's deeply affected my ability to trust people, to like open myself up to people, to let people in. It's made me like put up some really big walls and just not trust people in the same way that I used to, and be like ready for disappointment, you know? And it sucks. I don't want to be like that. But it also feels like a big like survival mechanism thing, you know? Like it doesn't really feel like something I have much of a choice about, because like I just keep getting hurt and disappointed and feeling betrayed and feeling upset and feeling very sad about things and feeling like I suck at friendships and I never choose the right friends and things always go wrong, and it's horrifying and terrifying and hurtful. And I'll also give that my internet friends are people that I met before the last friendship breakup that I had happened. And like, very genuinely, if I'd met them afterwards, I don't think we'd be talking. I don't think I'd have any friends right now. Because it really, I think my last friendship breakup actually rather fucked me up. Like, honestly, maybe more so than any like actual like relationship breakdown that I've had. Like, honestly, maybe more than like going no contact with my mum. It deeply, deeply upset me that I like trusted this person so much just to have them like, so after years, suddenly reveal their true colours and be like, oh fuck, I don't know this bitch, you know? Like that is the thing. So this has been a bit of a ramble and a bit of a blah blah blah, but I feel like it's hopefully something that other people relate to and understand. And yeah, I'm not necessarily looking for advice. I fucking hate it a lot of the time when people give me advice. But I would appreciate if people wanted to like give me a little bit of how they feel about friendships, just sort of discussion around the topic more so than any advice directed personally towards me, you know, would be lovely. It would be nice to have a chat about it in the comments. God, I've just sat here in silence for like 4 minutes. I obviously don't have anything else to say, so that's the end of the video. You can like and subscribe here if you fancy it. There's no pressure, you don't have to. You can also find me over on TikTok or Instagram if you fancy it, you don't have to. You can help support me financially on Patreon or Ko-fi if you fancied it. I've had a few people like comment offering me money to do things with, essentially. That's how you can do it. I'm a very awkward person, especially when it comes to things like that. I'm never ever going to reply to you and be like, yeah, give me cash. Like, I can't do it, I'm sorry. The most I can do is mention at the end of videos that there is a link in the little box below where you can give me money if you want to. There's no pressure, you do not have to. I feel very fucking awkward about it despite having had it there for years. So that's that. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're having a lovely morning, evening, day, afternoon, week, month, year, and I will see you again in a couple of days.